Hello again, welcome to Jacob's Tree. I'm Jacob, obviously. Today we're going to have a look at a couple of things, a very action-packed episode. First we're going to have a look at some of the new trees that I've acquired. We're then going to have a look at wiring this juniper here. Then we're going to do a trunk chop on this beautiful Totara here that I've just acquired. So all that coming up and more on this episode of Jacob's Tree. First up are the new fuchsias that I've acquired. Well, the only fuchsias that I have at various stages of their life. This one is a cutting I took from my grandmother's garden a couple of days ago. This is another slightly older one that was looking a bit sick that I also took from my my grandmother's garden. And then this one I recently I got this from a little nursery out the back of somebody's house in Wellington. So that was very well. I'm happy with that find. So these are the fuchsias. This is a cypress of some kind, of which I'm not exactly sure. It's got a nice little amount of trunk under there, so that will be heading for a pot very, very soon. We have a white pine here, which is quite a nice little specimen. That will be heading to for a pot very soon, right after I decide exactly what I want to do with it. And here is a Metro Cedarus of some description. They're close family of the Bahutakawa and the Rata, are in the same sort of family. So exciting to see what happens with that. Okay, so here is a Southern Rata, which I'm quite pleased with. I've yet to decide where the front should be on this, whether it should be here or here. If it's going to be here, then I'll have to take this part off, and I don't want to commit to doing that yet, so we'll have to take this off to clear the trunk out. So that's where I am on that at the moment. That will look, it will look quite good if I take this off, really clear up the trunk. So it'll look something like that, so that'll be nice. And then here we have a ficus that I've recently wired, adequately wired. So I'll put a photo of what exactly this tree looked like beforehand. A lot of the cuttings that I took, well, a lot of the amounts that came off the tree, I've tried to take cuttings off, so we'll see if they take. I've got also a little shoot of garlic that keeps coming up here. Every time I pick it, my hands smell like garlic, and I actually quite like it. And here, so this is what it looks like. A better sort of, I guess, view of the tree. Now, the reason I've kept this tree is because I've been reading a little bit about sacrificial branches. So the function of this branch essentially is to thicken up this part of the trunk to make it look more like a tree. So that's what, and then once it thickens up, you cut it off and you have a more distinct trunk line, because at the moment this is sort of taking away from it. But its function is to thicken is to thicken this part of the tree up. So the updates will keep on rolling in with this one, definitely, and hopefully these cuttings take as well. One of the things I didn't cover was that I got a blue cedar recently, which is quite nice, so I'll have to stake that at some point. And I got a couple of Feijoa seedlings from my partner's brother, so keep a close eye on them as well. I have in no way decided what I'm going to do with this yet. I know that looks good as a formal upright tree and as a cascade. What I do know is that we need to take these little dead bits out, so we can grab those now. I have some wire here, but I need some high gauge wire to change this trunk here because it's quite thick. This just won't cut it. I have some higher gauge wire at home, so perhaps it can wait till then. We might just do a general cleanup of the tree so we can see exactly what we're working with, and then save the wiring for a little bit later on. So I'm a little bit of a newbie when it comes to this, but my understanding is that we need to pluck these types out here from the trunk to give a clear line. Anything you're not going to use. And try and, I guess, make the branches stick out from the other ones. So I'll go away and do that, and then come back once I've done that to see if we've made any noticeable difference. Okay, so we've got a little bit more definition now on the Juniper. Still not sure what to do. What I'm thinking at the moment though is a cascade. I can pull these down and out with wire. But I still don't know where the front should be, whether it should be here. Then bring these down. Sorry, whoops. Bring these down and out. I think this one will have to go. So if I pull these down, it might look alright. So I will wire it up and see how it looks. So at the very least we've got some definition here and we can see what we're doing. Now up here there is the trunk line sort of splits off here, so it's I guess I've also been tossing up whether I want to get rid of this here to continue this, because this is the stronger of the two, so make this the leader. But I guess time will tell. So I will wire up this tree, we'll wire up some of it to see how it looks, and then we'll be able to move on from there. So I've wired some of the branches up, and now the decision has come. Well, the time has come to make a decision, more like, in regards to this bit here. I think I've decided to cut this bit here off and then pull this bit here down, make that the leader. I think that will look best. So, and I do apologize for these secateurs. I know they're not the greatest that you'll ever see in terms of professional, or not professional, but may leave a bit of a wound, but here I go. So there we go. So that hopefully will heal over nicely, and I'll finish wiring up this tree and we'll have a look at it. Well, I've made a sufficient mess of this tree. The idea is to have these two branches down here a bit, it's kind of cascading. I need to actually wire the tree so it's hanging down a bit, but I need some higher gauge wire for that. So that's all I can do on this tree for the meantime. I'll fix it up a little bit. You can see the tangle of wires up on here. So that is the Juniper, and now we're going to go ahead and cut the Totara, and that'll be us for the video. So we're going to cut the Totara now. I don't really want to, but sacrifices must be made. So what I'm looking for is for nice big sacrificial branches, and this one sticks out right away. This will thicken up the trunk, and so will this. So we can take it around here and see how we go. So here I go. So that can't be undone now. This will make for a couple of good cuttings. And yeah, so I'm not going to clean this up, I'm just going to leave this as it is to develop. I'm going to wire up this maybe as the new leader, and that will eventually heal up and get thicker, and then this will become the new head of the tree as it thickens up. Hopefully, that's the theory anyway. I've watched like 3 videos, so. Well, thanks for tuning in to this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one.